The observation deck of the Stellar Covenant hummed with the quiet efficiency of a dozen species working in careful harmony. Zia stood at his station, monitoring the atmospheric readings of the newly discovered planet below, a verdant world the survey team had designated as Kepler 442c. His dark eyes reflected the swirling green and blue of the planet's surface as data streams cascaded across his holographic display. Zia, we're getting unusual biosignatures from Sector 7, called Commander Thexval, her chitinous exoskeleton clicking as she gestured with 4 of her 6 arms. Deploy the ground team. Zia nodded, his fingers dancing across the controls. Among the volunteers was Elsa, the human xenobiologist who had joined their expedition only 3 cycles ago. The other crew members still whispered about her species, those strange primates from the 3rd planet of an unremarkable yellow star, newly admitted to the Galactic Council. Humans were odd. They came from a death world, yet they smiled constantly. They were fragile, yet they refused to acknowledge danger. And they had this bizarre tendency to treat everything, absolutely everything, as a potential companion. Elsa's boots touched the moss-covered ground of Kepler 442c with a soft squelch. The air was thick with humidity, and the forest around her team pulsed with alien life. 3-eyed birds with crystalline feathers watched from branches that bent like liquid glass. In the distance, something howled, a sound that made the Vraxian security officer's scales turn pale yellow with fear. Maintain formation, Zia's voice crackled through her comm. The biosignature is approximately 200 meters northwest of your position. Elsa grinned beneath her helmet. This was why she'd left Earth, to see the impossible, to touch the unknown. Her teammates moved with military precision. Lieutenant Cathara with her plasma rifle ready, Dr. Venn with his medical scanner active, and the ever-nervous Vraxian called SK who looked ready to bolt at any moment. They found the creature in a clearing. It was massive, easily 4 meters tall with 6 powerful legs ending in razor-sharp claws. Its body was covered in midnight blue scales that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. The head was reptilian, dominated by 3 sets of eyes that glowed amber in the filtered sunlight. Rows of crystalline teeth lined its enormous maw, each tooth the size of Elsa's forearm. The creature was also bleeding. One of its rear paws, if such a massive appendage could be called that, was caught in what appeared to be some kind of natural trap. Thorned vines, thick as cables and harder than steel, had wrapped around the limb. The creature's struggles had only made things worse. Deep lacerations oozed purple blood that hissed when it touched the forest floor. Apex predator, Cathara whispered, her universal translator barely catching the words. We should retreat now. The creature's heads, Elsa now realized it had 3 necks, each supporting an independent head, swiveled toward them. All 9 eyes locked onto the team. A low growl emerged from 3 throats simultaneously, a sound that vibrated in Elsa's chest cavity and made her teeth ache. Agreed, said Dr. Venn, already backing away. This is not a first contact situation. This is a survival situation. But Elsa was already moving forward. Human Elsa, what are you doing? Zia's voice was sharp in her ear. Retreat immediately. It's hurt, Elsa said simply, as if that explained everything. And to her, it did. She could hear her teammates' protests, Cathara's hissed warning, Dr. Venn's logical appeals, SSK's panicked chirping. Above them in the ship, she knew Zia was probably gripping his console, trying to decide whether to order a forced extraction. The creature watched her approach. All 3 heads tracked her movement, lips curling back to reveal those massive crystalline teeth. The growl intensified and the free legs tensed, ready to pounce, to tear, to kill. Elsa stopped 3 meters away and slowly removed her helmet. The gasps from her comm told her what her teammates thought of that decision. But she wanted the creature to see her face, to see that she meant no harm. She kept her movements slow and deliberate. Hey there, she said softly, her voice calm despite her racing heart. Ouch, that must hurt, you naughty animal. She smiled gently. It looks like you hurt your paws. The creature's growl faltered. The middle head tilted slightly, a gesture that seemed almost curious. Elsa knelt down, making herself smaller, less threatening. She reached into her field kit and pulled out the universal medical spray, designed to work on carbon-based life forms regardless of origin. The label had 17 different warning symbols on it, each representing a different galactic species version of use with extreme caution. I'm going to help you, Elsa continued, her voice maintaining that same soothing tone. But you need to trust me, okay? I know it hurts. I know you're scared. Human psychology, Zia muttered in her ear, and she could hear the fascination in his voice despite his concern. She's using human psychology on an alien apex predator. Humans are insane, Cathara added, but there was respect in her tone now. Elsa moved closer. The creature could kill her with a single swipe, they all knew it. But she kept her movements calm, her voice steady. She talked continuously, nonsense mostly, the kind of soothing sound she'd used with injured animals back on Earth. You're such a big creature, aren't you? Yes, you are, but you got yourself all tangled up. Let's get you fixed up. She reached the trapped paw. The vines had cut deep and the creature's struggling had made it worse. Elsa pulled out her plasma cutter, designed for geological sampling, but it would work on plant matter. She adjusted it to the lowest setting. The creature could have ended her then, should have by all logical assessment, but instead all three heads leaned down, watching with those glowing amber eyes as this small, fragile being worked to free it. This might sting a little, Elsa warned. The plasma cutter hummed to life. She worked carefully, cutting through the vines one at a time. Purple blood continued to ooze, staining her gloves. The creature flinched but didn't pull away. If anything, it seemed to understand that she was helping. 10 minutes later, the last vine fell away. The creature immediately stepped back, testing the injured paw. It limped but could bear weight. Elsa quickly applied the medical spray to the wounds, watching as the universal coagulants and healing accelerants went to work. There you go, she said, stepping back and giving the creature space. All better. Well, it'll take some time to heal properly, but you should be okay now. The creature regarded her with all 9 eyes. Then slowly, deliberately, the middle head lowered until it was level with Elsa's face. She could feel its hot breath, could see her reflection in those alien eyes. It made a sound, not a growl this time, but something softer, almost purring. The head gently bumped against her shoulder, nearly knocking her over with the force. Elsa laughed and reached up to pat the massive snout. You're welcome, big guy. Back on the Stellar Covenant, the entire bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the human xenobiologist not only survived the encounter, but seemed to have made a friend. The creature followed Elsa back to the shuttle, 3 heads bobbing with interest, and only left when the shuttle began to lift off, and even then, it watched until they disappeared into the sky. I will never understand humans, Commander Thexval said. All 6 arms crossed over her thorax. Zia found himself smiling as he watched Elsa return to the ship, already chattering excitedly about the creature's biology, about how they should establish a research station, about how beautiful and intelligent it had been. That's what makes them special, he said quietly. Any species can learn to fight. Any species can learn to fear. But humans? They somehow decided that the proper response to a hostile universe is compassion. He pulled up the mission logs, already drafting his report to the Galactic Council. The humans had been controversial additions to the galactic community. Their world was harsh, their history violent. Their survival instincts paradoxically both highly developed and seemingly absent. But perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy needed. Perhaps in a universe of predators and prey, of cold logic and calculated survival, humanity's reckless compassion was not a weakness. Perhaps it was their superpower. As Elsa entered the bridge, still covered in purple blood and grinning from ear to ear, Zia realized something. The galaxy had spent millennia learning how to survive. The humans were teaching them how to live. ND